Good morning and welcome to Adult Story Time. May is Salute to the Military Month, and as you might guess, we're taking our stories during the month of May from various books regarding, it might be soldier stories, it might be historical events, but we are going to be sharing during story time stories about the servicemen and women of the United States military. Today's story is taken from a book we pulled together in one, and this is a story that was submitted by a lady named Rose, and it is entitled First V-Mail Letter Filled Mom with Fear. And let's get started. It had been weeks since we'd heard from my brother Bill. He'd been very good about writing until he was assigned to a submarine tender, where he became Mama's constant companion. One day our mail included a small envelope about the size of a thank you note. It looked strange, its edges tinged a murky gray, as though it had survived a fire. My parents' hand-printed name and address showed through a tiny window on the front. Convinced that letter edged in black pretended bad news, Mama couldn't even open the envelope. Instead, she sent me over to fetch our neighbor Maud. Maud took a deep breath and began to read. Dear Mom, Dad, and Kids. It was a letter from Bill. Mama's fearful expression slowly changed to a grin, and then a broad smile, and finally tears of joy and relief. We soon became familiar with the new V-mail devised by the government to accommodate the huge volume of mail. It consisted of a single sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11 inches, with the addressee's name and address printed at the top, then the sender's, and then the message. The finished letter was folded to make its own envelope. After it was posted, censored, and microfilmed, it was somehow reduced to about half its original size, requiring only half the cargo space of ordinary letters. Mama's reaction to the first V-mail letter reminded me of President Roosevelt's words, "We have nothing to fear but fear itself." We certainly had nothing to fear from V-mail. This story was a story of a personal remembrance from the World War II era, and we're going to look now at what V-mail was, so please stay with us in this video. V-mail, short for Victory Mail, was a hybrid mail process used by the United States during the Second World War as the primary and secure method to correspond with soldiers stationed abroad. To reduce the cost of transferring an original letter through the military postal system, a V-mail letter would be censored, copied to film, and printed back to paper upon arrival at its destination. The V-mail process is based on the earliest British airgraph process. V-mail correspondence was on small letter sheets, 7 by 9 1/8 inch, that would go through mail censors before being photographed and transported as thumbnail-sized image in negative microfilm. Upon arrival to their destination, the negatives would be printed. The final print was 60% of the original document size, creating a sheet 4 1/4 by 5 1/4 inches. According to the National Postal Museum, V-mail ensured that thousands of tons of shipping space could be reserved for war materials. The 37 mail bags required to carry 150,000 one-page letters could be replaced by a single mail sack. The weight of that same amount of mail was reduced dramatically from 2,575 pounds to a mere 45 pounds. This saved considerable weight and bulk in a time in which both were hard to manage in a combat zone. Thank you for joining us for today's story time. We're so glad you did. Stay tuned the rest of the month for different programs on military history, on the men and women who served. We hope you participate in all of them. Until I see you next time, stay safe, be healthy, and have a wonderful week.